I love community, I love people, but I love Jesus more. Lesser known, much lesser known than St. Francis, were a sect that began in the 400s called the Pillar Saints, or the Stylites. And stylite comes from the Greek word stoulos, which Chris can tell you means pillar. Now these guys, it began in 1423 by a guy named Simeon. They would literally have their friends and themselves, they would drag marble pillars out into the wilderness. I mean marble pillars like you see at the Parthenon. I mean great big pillars. They drag them out to the wilderness. They would hoist themselves up or be carried to the top of those pillars, and they would live there. They would make their home on top of a pillar in the wilderness, because that was their way of saying, anything or anyone who distracts me from my devotion to Jesus Christ, I'm going to actively ignore them. So they went to extremes to practice this asceticism. One saint, his name was Alephius, he spent 53 years on top of a marble pillar in the wilderness that was less than 4 feet in diameter. After 53 years of standing on that pillar to say, I just want to block out anything that obscures my view of God. I just want to devote myself completely to Jesus. I don't want any noise, any distractions, anything else. After 53 years, his ankles collapsed. So some of his friends assumed that he'd come down from the pillar, maybe go to a podiatrist. But he didn't. Alephius instead turned himself sideways, laid down on the pillar, and he lived another 14 years prone, but still solitary atop that pillar, because his heart, I believe his mannerism was a little wacko, but his heart was, I just want to be as close to God as I possibly can without any distractions. Y'all, I don't agree with their methodology. I mean, I think living on top of a pillar is, as Chris said, absolutely cray-cray. And if I tried to protest culture by stomping off into the woods naked, people in Nashville would probably call that cause for arrest. And so I'm not saying we need to do what they did, but I'm thinking maybe we need to think more the way they thought. To go, what is it in my life that is distracting me from being completely devoted to Jesus? And I think, as a total extrovert, I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. I love people. I love hugging total strangers to my chest. And believe me, there's enough room under here for a village. I mean, I am a people person. But what God has been whispering to me over and over and over again is, Lisa, I have to matter more. I have to matter more. What are you willing to give up